This week on RSBANDB Update, RuneScape's DailyScape Overhaul arrives with surprises including the survival of daily challenges and sinkholes. Are daily challenges remaining in-game a problem? We discuss that and our relief with reducing dailies, shop runs, and time-locked gameplay. This is RSBANDB Update, episode 1081, recorded Thursday, March 19th, 2026. The Daily Do-Over. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of RSBANDB Update. This week, DailyScape dwindles and dwindles to a point where you might be able to enjoy the rest of the game when you just log in on your own terms. That's the way it's been presented. Tanis, you're here. Welcome aboard.
Thank you, Shane.
How do you feel about a little less daily in your life?
Oh, we're going to get into that.
Okay, good.
We're going to dig into that. I wish I could say that I have a strong reaction to it, but my reaction is more a reaction to the reaction than actually giving much of a shit myself. So.
Okay. Also, Thaxia is here. Normally I introduce you as the person who does combat and math with us, but this week I'm going to introduce you as the person who at one point had a list of dailies that you said could take you 2.5 hours to do if you wanted to. Welcome back.
For the sake of efficiency, I am here as the achievements and completionist gentleman in this episode. That is my other hat.
That
yay balance.
You spent way too much time on, and I just shook my head whenever you told me that.
I benefited from doing those things. I got a lot of XP that I did not have to do a lot of work for. Even to the point of getting seaweed and sand for free and getting free crafting XP from it.
Well, there we go.
Great.
Well, there we go. That's one way.
You say you don't have to work, but we might talk about that coming up.
You may not have to work, but there was a cost.
Getting dragon hide.
And that is Zerdones.
Yeah, exactly. There you go, Zerdones. There's a cost. Yeah,
there is a cost to be paid.
And that is Zerdones here to share how he feels about needing to hunt salamanders and wilderness creatures now rather than doing flash events for his Dark Onyx core, which you're missing after how many flash events before they went away?
Oh, I don't remember. I'm over 1,000, although I have actually finally got cores. I have 2 cores, but I need 1 more core.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
I'm over 1,000, less than 2,000. I don't remember the exact number.
All right. Well, if you guys are joining us for the first time, full show notes for this episode to follow along can be found over at update.show. We have a community Discord you can join that you can find at update.show/Discord, and the Friends chat can be found in-game at BitsBytes. But, of course, this podcast would not be going if it were not for our wonderful, experienced tier Patreon members this week. That is Amos Reed, Bladecom, Dominic R., Jade Gizmo, Jason S., Jesse W., Julia W., Keski, Lemon Lodge, Luminos, Ricky A., Sly Oasis, Smavin, Snail Mage, The Naked Captain, and Tim. Big, huge thank you, everybody. You'll hear more about our general Patreon offerings a little bit later in the show, but let's just start with the big surprise of the week. Daily challenges remain. Surprise!
The big thing that they were advertising. We don't like these anymore. These are bad. You're bad for liking them. And they're still here.
Bad.
I am. Go ahead, Dennis.
I was just, it's funny because we end up where they probably should have been in the first place, but where do we start with this, Shane? Because
well, we start with the fact that the weekly reward track has been removed and they can no longer be extended to 2x, which in that regard, you know, everybody could just go buy wax or collect wax, and then with that, you'd be able to, if I'm using my numbers for where I'm at with 110 magic presently, you would be able to get around probably 280 to 290,000 XP an hour, or not XP an hour, XP a day for free, just by doing your 6 combat daily challenges. And their sense on this is that by removing the weekly reward track along with the ability to extend or reroll, the intent is that the removal of the weekly tracker and streak system will ease the pressure to complete daily challenges every day and give you a greater opportunity to ignore them on any day you would prefer to focus on something else. And they said they got to this decision after careful consideration and plenty of public and internal discussion. Dun, dun, dun.
I would really love to be a fly on the wall for those discussions, because I'm not saying I disagree with the decision, but it is a marked departure from where they were when they first announced this.
Yeah, and I have a simple answer to why they're here, and people might like to say one thing, or another on this, but the simple answer to why they're here is that people do not read news posts. This update would have launched this week, and the vast majority of people would have been questioning where their daily challenges are. It's really as simple as that.
Oh, that's really sad.
I want to say that somebody with a brain, let's be inflammatory, at JagX sat everybody else down and was like, no, this is the best daily you have going. You still need something because it is good for the game probably to have some login incentive, as much as it is not healthy for the players. Probably good for the game. And this is the least unhealthy login incentive that we have. And that's like, I think I'm on the record from October when they started this whole thing of being like, all right, daily challenges are the best daily. They're the one that we should keep. Out of every daily, it's the one thing that we really should keep. Everything else can go out the window. Please, God, I beg. But daily challenges we really ought to keep because they're customizable. And when you think about the actual reward they give, it's not unreasonable, especially since you can't extend them anymore. It is,
or reroll them.
Right. When you're like, it is at every stage of the game, it is very well balanced. Like in the early games, you can't choose to skip a skill unless it is your last 99. You can't like get rid of everything else. You have to have balance. So you have to still learn and progress through all the skills. It doesn't give you the option to skip a huge portion of gameplay unless you genuinely don't interact with the skill for months at a time, which is fair. And at that point, good on you, I guess. And then like when you hit this mid game, it helps you finish off and get to max, which is like, in theory, a goal at that point. And once you hit max, once you hit like these higher levels, the XP can go into a skill you don't want to drain. And the amount of XP it takes to get to a significantly higher level, like to get a 120 from a 99, is like a full year. And if somebody wants to spend a full year of their login incentives on it, honestly, good for the game, fine by me. Like, they're not spending 30 years to get all their skills to Master Max off of just daily challenges. That's crazy.
If they
want to skip one or two skills, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, one thing you've just said, and I go back to my thesis for the year on this. One thing you've just said that reminds me of that and needs to be stated again. At the start of the year with this whole road to restoration thing, I said two sentences, and I didn't know these two sentences were going to be probably some of the most important sentences I'd say this year. I said, RuneScape does not need to be old school. A return to a style of content grounded in a medieval fantasy world combined with the road to restoration has the immense potential to save RuneScape. You can debate if the save RuneScape verbiage is to your liking, but I think those are the two most impactful sentences I said, because removing what they did of daily challenges does not make the game old school, and if they wanted to make the game old school, there's a whole suite of other things they could have done, like talking about removing convenience features like, oh god, dare I say it, removing the tool belt, which would, we'd scream bloody murder about. So this isn't about making the game like old school, I don't think. And as a result of that, I think, combined with metrics and knowing what happened last time daily challenges were talked about, I think that's probably how they got to that, combined with the news post factor. Zerdones, you had an interesting view of daily challenges. when we
Yeah,
started discussing
I
this.
like them for different reasons than Faxi does. Like I'm at the point where I don't care about XP anymore. Like selfishly for my own get-go, if they kept daily challenges but took the XP off of them, I would be happy as a clam. Because the only thing I like daily challenges for is they give me a reason to log in and hunt for pets. Because I do not want, like, I cannot, I'm hunting for pets. The two pets I have left right now are agility and prayer. I do not have it in me to log in every day and force myself to sit on Serenity Posts. I do not have it in myself to log in every day and do a load of bones. I need, maybe this is a weakness in my brain, but I need the little item in the corner saying, "Oi, idiot, go do your thing." That makes me happy.
Reminder that bones don't the bonus experience from all the altars and experience bonuses doesn't count for the prayer pet.
I know.
All of the experience from stones does.
I know, but I also don't have it in me to sit at the cleansing crystal for an hour with a stone. I would go. I don't want to say I would go crazy. What would happen is I would just stop doing it because I did this. I tried doing a day of Serenity Posts every day, and I did it maybe 3 times a week and then stopped.
Dailies.
Because I just cannot force myself to do it.
Well, just think, you go walk your dog now. You just hop on a post and put it in your pocket, and away you go.
So I am very happy that they're still around. I like having, even independent of my need for pets, I do think there's value in, I don't know what to do. Here's a thing. Go do a thing.
I'm missing 2 pets as well. I have mine set to fire making for that exact same reason. I literally cannot judge you. But I
should also say anecdotally, this has paid off for me because I've gotten 4 pets through daily challenges. So, hooray for daily challenges.
The last argument I want to make on this is the amount of time it actually saves you by doing daily challenges every day. If your daily challenges take you 2 minutes, I want somebody to look at the maxed XP rate. We're going to assume all these challenges are being done at 99 when you can actually choose them, because before then I think it's inconsequential daily XP.
Yeah. It's
like a nice bonus when they're fully random. But if you're choosing your daily challenges, like I want somebody to think about the amount of doing you assume you do all 3 of your challenges in the same skill every day. And then I want you to compare that to how long it would take you to get that XP training with the regular method. So for me, that's either burning sharp shell shards or logs. And the amount of XP I get from that versus just doing challenges is it's 10, 15 minutes that I save ish. I think that's that way for most skills. For agility, it might be closer to 20 minutes saved a day, something like that. There's some skills that are worth more because they have lower XP rates. But for the average skill where you magic, like you were saying, it's 5 minutes. The amount of XP you get from doing daily challenges on magic is genuinely less than 5 minutes of XP saved, depending on what you're doing for training. But assuming you were spamming, efficient AoE-able creatures, there's...
I don't know what the time works out to, but I did do a little bit. I'm going to be a little bit of a math guy now. And I will say that I did a little bit of math on this the other day, and it roughly works out somewhere from 5 to 7K XP an hour. Yep. That's the increase. So that's at most, that's maybe an 8% increase.
Daily challenges are just not the amount of time that you're I logged in and I'm getting this amount of progress on a skill is
and I ran some numbers for myself. Where I'm at right now, if I look at my attack level, which is 101, it'd be 1888 daily challenges back to back to hit level 120 attack.
Yeah,
which is a year and change.
Yeah, from a 99, it's a year.
Yeah, and I think we calculated 39 million XP per year in a skill that maxes out at 99, and 56 million XP a year after in a skill that's 120.
Yeah, so it's something once you're at 99, it's something like 2 years to get to 110 if you put all 3 of your daily challenges into one skill, about another 3 to 3.5 to get to 120, and then sorry, not another, total of 3 to 3.5 years, total of about 5 years to get to 200 mil.
And I mean, if people want to spend their time that
that's-
way,
Yeah, and that's doing it every day and doing nothing else. So like that's already, if you were playing the game like that, you're insane.
Hey, some people
I love
really
you, but
hate
you're
agility.
insane.
Some people
I really hate
agility.
That is still like, yeah.
No, I've never felt, we were talking about this earlier. I've never felt compelled to have to do really anything. I mean, maybe of course you're going to want to try to do the best method available at your level or this or that, but I've just never felt like I had to do, and that includes dailies. That includes with the streaks. Because to me, the cost to the dailies, like it sounds like it's great XP. Dude, I'm never going to get fucking 3 days in a row, let alone fucking a year. Piss. Yeah, right. Like, so that's never, ever going to happen. And I'm never going to just like, I'm not the kind of person that drop. So like, I'm kind of the opposite of Zerdone's, where he needs that. Like, hey, I need to do something. I'm like, I feel like it's a chore. I'm being told what to do, and I don't like being told what to fucking do. And like at first, this whole thing I thought was kind of like, point and laugh, like, right? Because I've been kind of indifferent, right? Like I didn't care about microtransactions. Didn't bother me. This whole road to restoration, once again, completely unnecessary, but doesn't fucking bother me. I kind of stood back and said, well, yeah, votes have consequences, motherfuckers. Now, well, the only thing I'm surprised about is the flip.
Yeah.
Like,
so that brings us to the question:
me.
Why did, like, I gave my idea about why they remained at the top of the segment. You guys on board with that? Do you have any other ideas as to why they're still here?
It's the most flexible, most healthy, and most widely applicable of the daily login incentives. It's the reason to log in, because it's in a game that's largely about XP for most of the game progression. Here's some free XP. And free is also an aspect because it's like, especially if you've got 3 challenges in different skills, you're like, it's the time to either gear up for whatever the activity is, combat gear, like tools, whatever. And then it's time to actually get there. You need to get to the tree, get to the agility course, get to the mining rock. Like, you can't just rock up to these. It's not like they're immediately free a lot of the time. Some of them are.
Well,
Depends
most of them can be done in Berthorpe.
If you're saving 3 minutes on a single challenge, 3 to 5 minutes maybe, but you spend 2 minutes gearing up and getting to the place, which again, across 2 minutes you move 400 game squares, which is a lot, but like you're still spending the time. Like, you're not getting the value you think you're getting out of the
So we get to
They're very skippable.
We get to a point then where the reality that has been painted is that you could have purity by just removing these entirely. And you could have that same sort of, no XP going into a skill, except from skill training methods, like you had with old school, or the more egregious things on this list, like the caches or the flash events.
Caches.
But at the end of the day, you had the numbers up. It's not that much when you can't reroll them. It's not that much when they're random. It does add up, of course, after level 99 and after level 120. And there's an argument to be made there, I think. But when you look at it from that perspective, is that really going to ruin the whole road to restoration and subsequently prevent a bunch of people from old school coming over and checking out the game? I don't think so.
Well, I think to give the devil's advocate position, I think it's the fact that Jagex flipped so drastically.
Without telling us.
Like that does signal that, because I think the problem with this whole roadmap, and this is the thing I've been saying for a long time, is players are taking Jagex on faith. Jagex is asking to be taken on faith. Jagex is saying, we are going to do all of these things. You are going to be happy with us because we've done all these things. These are good things. And then they're putting that forward with one hand, and then with the other, they are taking some of that back. They're saying, with one hand, they're saying, oh, daily challenges are the epitome of DailyScape. They are the worst of all of it. And then with the other hand, oh, actually, daily challenges are okay.
Said.
Yeah, that is what they said. They literally said in the news post, daily challenges are the definition of DailyScape, in the whole post about how DailyScape is evil. And then now they're saying, actually, it's okay. Daily challenges are okay. And I'm not saying I disagree with that position, because I don't. But I think if you are someone who does, or even if you're someone who is taking Jagex at their word, the fact that they're so readily going back on that statement calls into question everything else they're promising.
Well,
and that's what I wanted to bring up, because if I was wanting to poke holes in that, that is precisely where I would go, Sir Dones.
Well, I think what's interesting, okay, a company can pivot, right? Mm-hmm. Jagex has, okay, the whole road to restoration, when they took away, treasure hunter, yay, rah rah, okay, but then we started on the road of more like the Trail of Tears, right? Like it's just been taking shit away over and over every week. Something else gets fucking taken away, and then last week they say, and give us some more money now.
Yeah.
This, you couldn't do one more week of that. There's some decent, right? But that's the thing, like every rebalance, everything that they've done has been mixed. There's been some things that were fine, a lot of stuff that I'm just indifferent, but it's all taken away, right? Like, and I'm going to be really curious at the end of the day, like when this game isn't rewarding, is it as fun? Do you want to play something that isn't fun because it isn't rewarding? We'll see.
And
we'll see who was right at the end of this.
And that's the thing that the jury is out on. Is this going to work? And I've been thinking that after discussions with many people over the past few weeks about membership prices, about what's happening in RS3, about what the content roadmap looks like, and so on and so forth. What is it going to look like at the end? And is that going to be a compelling product? And the thing is, if this changed with DailyScape, we don't necessarily know what the end picture of this is going to be. And I'll make the argument that we got most of the big ones out of the way. After Auras, it'll just be mid and end game that are going to be the biggest ones that we're waiting for. So it'll be up to
I want to put on my tinfoil hat.
What happens?
Do it.
And I'm going to posit one more reason why they kept daily challenges. And this is entirely we'll see. But I think that there's a lot of functions in the game that are a little bit spaghetti. And I think this Road to Restoration stuff, they're kind of pumping out updates. God bless the devs for trying to keep up with the anticipated schedule. They're slipping a little bit, but they're doing a pretty good job. I don't know how much dev time they had to put into this. The daily challenge system, remember, is also linked to the game's tutorial, and I don't think that's changed despite moving the start point back to Lumbridge.
Is it?
It is. So
I know there's an onboarding challenge track.
So the onboarding challenge track is 15 things, and I'm assuming they had to redo that when they moved it to Lumbridge, because it didn't get taken away as far as I know. I think the starting point is Lumbridge. No, I'm not crazy.
Yes, it is. They did move it.
So I'm assuming that they just redid all those challenges, and they're like, if we remove the challenge system and interface, this suddenly goes away. And it does lock some things, like some of the progression tracks in the tracker, and several other things are straight up locked behind the intro daily challenges.
Right.
And I wonder if it was a really big engine concern to remove that interface. I wonder if not having that unlock check was like somehow, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's something that's like, oh yeah, Ramen could have just like put a checkbox into saying, yep, player completed this automatically when you make a new account, and it doesn't matter. But there's a part of me that's like, maybe they just made this and like, oh, we just made this thing, we just redid this thing, we should get rid of it. Like, I wonder if that new player tutorial played into the amount of the limited amount of dev time that they had.
Well, it had to be a factor, right? Whether it was the factor or not, it was probably something, right?
Because that, like, the brand new player experience thing.
I mean, we'll never know.
Yeah.
We'll never know.
No, we won't.
But it's an interesting thing to think about.
It is interesting. I feel like if that's what it was, if that's all that it was, my instinct would be they would still be planning on taking it out eventually, which means they probably would have told us that was the reason. The way they phrase the news post, I feel like I'm not entirely sure whether they intend to keep daily challenges forever or whether they intend to remove them in the future. And I don't know if they're sure yet.
Oh, that's
I did get that sense as well.
I fully believe that they recognize this was probably the healthiest and most flexible and most like appreciated by the players who, like, I'm going to say the average Joe player base who is not sweaty and gamer wants to just be loud vocally. I think the average player likes daily challenges some of the most. I think they're flexible and they're a good login incentive.
You guys want the ultimate conspiracy theory?
Programs. More tinfoil is good.
Is it going to be more than mine? Because I got a tinfoil theory too.
Let's go.
They want to add. They don't want to preclude the idea of adding another battle pass, a purely cosmetic one that could tie in.
Okay, yeah, you beat mine. Your tinfoil is more refined than mine. All right.
After Hero Pass,
you know what I think
if they try it.
I like battle passes. I really do.
You know what I think it was?
I
think it must have been the Cambridge mob.
It was them.
Clearly. It's the only possible explanation.
Okay, so I upped it to a higher level. What was yours going to be, Zerdone? So we'll move on from this.
Mine is not at that level. You are way above me. You are playing 9D chess. My tinfoil is starting off with non-tinfoil. Jagex knows how many people are logging in, doing their daily challenges, and logging out. They know how many people are logging in, doing their daily challenges, sitting in the max guild for 10 minutes, and then going doing something else. Where my tinfoil comes in, Jagex also knows they don't have a lot of content coming out this year. Like Avernick and I were talking in Discord earlier today. There's like 5, maybe 6 content updates this year, like new content, not changes to old content or like rebalancing stuff. So
and a
like,
lot of them are aimed at early game players. They're not aimed at people in the max guild.
Right.
Yeah.
And like there is a degree to which you can fob off high-level players, but you do still want them logging in. You want them to think, especially if you're increasing their membership price, you want them to think, oh, there's a reason I'm still giving you my money.
Yeah.
And if that's
it's
maybe
the best
a little bit,
we have.
If that's maybe a little bit psychologically unhealthy, it's a business. Gotta make money.
You know, is it psychologically unhealthy? I mean, for goodness sake, we can bet on like where a missile is going to land in the world.
Oh yeah.
I can't sit and take a shit without someone asking me to bet on the NBA. Like, I mean, come on.
On the scale of toxic gaming, RS does not rate. That's something I've been saying for years as well.
Yeah.
Like, for the love of God, people complaining about this, play another game. I beg thee.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I mean, no, whichever way you slice it, they're here for now.
Weeklies,
at least.
now weeklies are going to be a problem.
Yeah, we'll
this
get
is
there.
my positive. Is that the weeklies that are worth doing are a lot now, but DailyScape is much better this week.
You got a whole week, you know. I mean, the weeklies. It reminded me of the old Citadel. You guys remember?
Oh yeah.
Like always going and doing your Citadel work on the week. I remember doing on the weekends. Had to go do my Citadel work, man. So no biggie.
Yeah. You say weekly.
Speaking of XP per hour,
you say weeklies. I say dailies on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
6 p.m. on Tuesday. Shit.
Remember when it was a 169-hour reset cycle? So you had to track the reset day, and every once every couple of months it shifted back a day, and we did this for years. So we did like the full round of resets being every day of the week. When is it this half a year?
Yeah.
Good times.
All right. Another surprise. Sinkholes are staying.
They
For
listen
now.
to our dungeoneering bit.
For now, they're staying until they fix dungeoneering. God bless. Which I hate sinkholes.
When?
I love floors.
Godspeed.
So But for now, sinkholes are staying. The only other daily. I don't feel pressure to do these because I hate them.
The Garaggio card is also staying with this.
Hear me out.
Literally,
Sinkholes are the last remaining player versus player in the game.
Yeah,
You're right.
see, this is
Tell me
like
I'm wrong.
savage.
it's true.
Brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't even go that far. Literally every time I've tried to go do sinkholes, I've been the only one doing sinkholes.
Really?
I don't know when it must be like maybe people
There's a
just don't
world
Are
like
you on the
me.
sinkhole world?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a world for it.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Every time I
That's
go.
crazy.
So like I just don't even go anymore because what's the point? Nobody's gonna be there.
Shifting tombs and elite dungeons.
Yeah, I mean,
Something
that's-
like that.
I guess that's fair, but
Maybe
So
people
why'd
just
they
don't like
keep
me.
these?
yeah.
They
Well,
say they
it's
may
a
revisit
testament.
this as part of the dungeoneering refresh and remaster, which I mean, sure.
Because dungeoneering sucks and everyone knows it.
Yes, that
Like,
is
that's
the
easy.
end result.
That's an easy
That's
one.
the end result.
Because some people hate Demonheim is the real answer. Some people.
And the same reason sinkholes are here, the same reason one reason why the daily challenges are still here, because some content in this game, it just is not fun, like, and you have to have some way of dealing with that. Dungeoneering is one of them. Guild is one of them, right? Like
That's what this year's all about, Tannis, is fixing all the unfun things.
by making it. I
Making
know,
it
right?
worse.
By
Yeah.
making it like we're gonna
Yeah.
take your shoes away. Now run, asshole.
We're gonna take your shoes away, but we're gonna give you some Air Jordans in 6 months. We promise.
In the
Yeah, we
meantime, go
promise.
stand on a post for
Yeah,
I was gonna
14k
say,
XP an
yeah.
hour.
The better
Yeah.
shoes are the shoes they're getting rid of are currently attached to my feet forever
Yeah.
until they get rid of them.
Okay, so it doesn't sound like we have much to say here. Obviously, the Garaggio card is probably the biggest thing here that people can benefit from, and the Melior potion recipes on that. So
The cards are pretty
It's-
OP.
The cards that allow you to get recipes without a thing are big, and like most of the other cards are fine. Or like extra XP, extra things like being able to buy them is really nice, I guess. But being able to get melee recipes is the thing that's an actual unlock that's otherwise hidden behind stuff. So
Well, I
that's
mean,
really nice. I would have complained about them getting rid of cards because what are the cards hurting? But it
yeah,
is
the
nice that
recipes are nice. You can get some pretty insane XP with cards, but
yeah, if you're willing to buy cards from sellers and stuff, and making that a weekly thing where you get 7 cards, you should only be able to hold one of them, bitches. It's a problem. They probably are too strong.
yeah, I was gonna say, like, isn't that how the it used to work? You could only have one at a time.
that's right.
Can you
Like,
have
I
more than
think-
one now?
Well, you could. I thought that's what you said. Maybe
You
I'm
still can
confused.
have only one. I think like
Okay.
maybe you can have one group one and one personal one. Or
Yeah,
something.
that's how it
yeah,
used to
that's
be,
what it,
yeah.
that's what it used to
Yeah.
be. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
I think
okay.
it's so that way. So like they couldn't
Okay.
make it a weekly. They couldn't make
Oh,
it. give
okay,
you
okay.
something
Okay.
Yeah.
I misunderstood. All right, my bad.
without breaking something else.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
but I mean, like, the reality of it is that if you need dungeoneering XP, this is going to be the way to go. I think probably there's still a big question out there still after the dungeoneering refresh and remaster blog was put out, because I don't necessarily know if that sold people and won the hearts and minds of the folks who journeyed to
People who
Daemonheim.
hate Daemonheim will still
Yeah,
hate
then
Daemonheim.
And that's what I
They
said.
might just
When we talked
Well-
about that, there's nothing in that post that makes me want to do dungeoneering.
If you just get dungeoneering XP from everything you do in there now, and also from opening doors, and like they need to do a lot of clarifying, and we'll see. We don't know anything about that yet.
So from that logic, it makes sense to keep sinkholes then until we know what's happening.
Sure.
Yeah. I see Zerdones, you're twirling your beard. Does that mean you want to say something?
Nope.
Okay. All right. What I will say is if you want to hear an alternative take on dungeoneering and the rework that was with that, check out our Patreon monthly bit that we just put out at patreon.com/RSBANDB. You can sign up there and become an RSBANDB Update insider. This week, those people include Alvaro L., Amos Reed, Bladecom, Chilbura, Dominic R., Duramax, Forceful Turd, Guy Lafleur, Imperialis, Jade Gizmo, Jason S., Jesse W., Julia W., Kesky, Lemon Lodge, Luminos, Matt Man, Mighty Myth, Michelle M., Mike Wings, Mongrath, Parnassius, Ricky A., Robbie D., Samuel FL, Sanguine RX, Scott DS, Shirt Pants, Oasis, Smobbin, Snail Mage, Tabby, The Naked Captain, The Dabbing Goat, Tim, Ukulele Steve, Woody, Zant, and Zazakon. Yes, head on over to patreon.com/RSBNB. There, for as little as $1 a month, you can access our most recent monthly bit, which was on the topic of doing a full-on dungeoneering rework. Give it the full treatment of something like the mining and smithing rework, and that's what you can expect to hear about in this episode. You gain access to that one and 92 other monthly bits for $1 a month. Patreon.com/RSBNB. We also do have our VIP community tier there for $3 a month. For that, you'll also get high-quality stereo versions each and every week, a monthly shout-out on the show, as well as access to our Discord channel and Discord chat, where we'll ask you for your ideas on monthly bits from time to time. You'll get to take part in our community nights, and of course submit topics for discussion weeks on quiet weeks, which I feel like there hasn't been a quiet week at all this year up to this point. Then we have the Insider tier for $5 a month, where you get a weekly shout out on the show and access to our expanded clip archive and outtakes. And of course, with that, you'll also receive the RSBANDB Update Christmas card at the end of the year. So if this sounds interesting to you, patreon.com/RSBANDB, $1 a month. Get to hear the episode on the dungeoneering rework and so many other things that we've talked about. Legacy Combat, DailyScape tier list. That's an interesting one to go back to after this week. Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Is it though?
I'm trying to think of where that would land now. But anyway,
there's only 2 of them on there.
There's only going to be a few of them now there. But also,
real short list.
Patreon members are also voting on our next monthly bit, where we'll be raising the idea of discussing where combat's at right now, the identity behind the rebrand, or why do I always forget the third monthly bit that I put up on the poll? I should be able to do this from completionism, right? Yeah, that was my idea, right? That's why I forgot it. But anyways, patreon.com/RSBNB if you want to vote, or just get access to the monthly bits starting at $1 a month. Thank you so much, everybody. Patreon.com/RSBNB. Okie dokie. Let's move on to some other things that were axed this week. Let's axe some dailies, as they say. Moving on down the list here. Goodbye. Wilderness flash events.
Womp womp.
Never did a one.
That's good for you.
Not one time.
That's good for you.
One time.
I am glad they're gone before our next league.
Yeah.
Because genuinely, that was not a pleasant league experience.
No.
Yeah, it was a bit rough. It was hard on my poor graphics card.
They were too good.
Salamanders got their time in the sun on Monday, having a higher drop rate on Dark Onyx cores. Zerdones, you missed your chance there. So
yeah,
they distributed.
I was locked into Slayer.
The Dark Onyx cores and the other rewards from the flash events elsewhere in the wilderness. What's been your experience up to this point?
They're quite low drops. I've been focusing on Wilderness Slayer because I also need 120 attack and strength, and so I need to do melee training, which means I might as well do Slayer. I have done 24 Slayer tasks, I think, over this week, and I have gotten 3 Wilderness Obelisk shards. And that's it. So they're rare. They're quite rare.
So they're going to maintain their value and their WoW stature then.
I think so. I mean, the trade-off is you can get that they're no longer limited to 4 a day for the cores, but I think they made them less common. That was the trade-off.
All right.
So,
and I mean, you look at the XP that came from those, and I would argue that based on what we saw in leagues, and if you protract that out for weeks and then months, beyond that, it becomes as much of a problem as a bigger problem actually than the dailies were, the daily challenge system. I think
they're very good for XP. They were very good for resources too. There was a lot of stuff that dropped very commonly from them, even after they nerfed. Yeah. I still have way too many Dragon Rider boots and gloves that I will never, I have no use for, and I don't know how to get. I guess I should just disassemble them, but there's no purpose to them.
Yeah.
One thing that I'm curious about, and I haven't been able to find an answer to this, is there's a quest that requires Wilderness Flash events.
Oh yeah, one of the Civil War ones, right?
What is it?
Civil War,
what did they change it to?
I didn't look. It's the second part of that achievement thread. Let's take
the Civil War one.
Yeah, it was the Civil War Legacy of Zamorak. It required that you go and do, the old version required that you go and do a Wilderness Flash event.
Yeah.
I think maybe on release you need to do
1.
more than one. But they at some point they changed it so you only need to do one. And now I don't know what they changed that to.
Well, the wiki's not up to date yet, but I assume they would not break something like that. So I wouldn't.
You'd hope.
Worry too much on that.
No, they have it. It's in the news post that they changed it. They just don't say what they changed.
Is it? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
that
that handles that side of it then.
I'll see if I can't figure it out while we talk.
While we're also on this, I'll just also mention that warbands have been removed, and I should also state that if we go back in time to when PvP was a thing, warbands were still the thing that all the fucking pretentious people who hated farming would do, and so it's good. It's good warbands are gone.
I'm sure you would think
farming.
that.
Yeah, the pretentious people who hated farming, not the pretentious people who hated, I don't know, herb lore.
Definitely
everything
not.
Else.
Definitely not.
Or I think was it prayer? There was 2 of them that were like worth doing, and it was not farming.
Yeah, herb was definitely on there. I don't remember the other one. This one actually did break
smithing?
something.
Might have been smithing.
I can't remember.
There's a
this
task, I believe, in
something.
the Wilderness Elite that needs one of these.
Well, there is. I think they just removed that. But the problem is the hard rewards you get from Quirkus, that tree guy next to the Grand Exchange, and his dialogue script is broken. So you can't claim rewards from him yet.
I mean, these are all minor things that could come up.
That's apparently due to be fixed on Monday, but it's still kind of funny.
Yeah.
I just find it funny.
Okay.
And I think goes to I don't think it's totally settled that they didn't break Civil War Quest.
Well, I'm not going to do that quest change and test it, because those were not
Civil
some of my
War
favorites.
2, and it requires walk on the wildy side 1.
You know, Avernick would know this, but he's not here this week.
I should have asked him. I forgot to. I forgot about it until we started talking about this.
But
anyway.
Let's just move on to the other big one that was in the room, and the other one I had my eye on for a long time. Another one that's been substantially changed is the Guthixian Caches. It now requires 800 memories to be deposited, then the cache will open up. Then it works mostly as normal. There's a new item inside there that you can collect by weaving unstable energy, and that basically just draws everybody in to the area, all the automatons in, and then it allows you to walk freely around that area. So that was the decision that they took with that for that.
Now,
and
I have done caches all of maybe twice ever. From what I understand, the strategy in caches has changed now because there's basically never anyone in them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They added a thing for you to like distract the automatons. You could throw a thing that would attract them to an area.
Yeah, it's basically like, in those zombie games, you have like the special grenade, you throw one of those, then they just all clamor to it. That's basically what they added for it. But I will say that an hour or so before reset today, before recording, I went to World 79, and that's where this footage came from of the cache. And there was, about a dozen people in that cache on 79.
That makes sense. It's the divination world. So the divination world has people that you can
Yeah, I mean, right before reset, sure.
So it was functioning mostly normally there. But, the like you were saying, it's going to change the way you approach the caches. And the other thing that wasn't documented in the news post, in the patch notes for this, is that they have the XP as well that caches give per cache. Which, I mean, makes sense given the change, right? That you can do them in perpetuity. But I just found that a little bit weird.
I thought
you
could still only get X amount of points a day, though. Did they remove that? Did they remove the?
I got 200 points in one day.
Yeah, that was the previous limit.
Okay, well, maybe I should have gone for another one after that, but
because you could do 2 caches a day for 100 points each, or you could do 3 caches for like 77. But whatever it is, like you could do caches until you hit 200 total points a day previously. And if they've
and that's not
cap,
clear.
Interesting.
On there if that cap has been removed. I'll test that after we're done here and throw a note.
I mean, I would assume, because otherwise, like, what's the daily that they've removed if it's not the cap?
Yeah. Well, like the points also give a chance at outfit pieces, and the points define how much XP you get, but they also give you, like, you get your chance at outfit pieces is based on how many points you get. So you get, I think it's a 50-50 shot at an outfit piece when you have 100 points. It like scales up and rolls when you leave. So I don't know.
And like everything else, I never got the XP that everyone says you get from this stuff, because, I mean...
I'd imagine caches are pretty hard to see.
Yeah, I mean, it just never...
Probably not fun for you.
Not for you.
Worked out.
The other thing I wanted to say about this is that when you look purely at the way the news post was structured, the entire idea behind this is to just remove the pressure to be there on the hour when it begins, and you do it at your own pace now. So I was thinking that this would, might even just get the axe completely, but it seems as though they found a way to keep it.
Yeah,
which surprised me.
I kind of suspect that might also be, like, to pull on Faxy's tinfoil from earlier, that might be a dev time limitation, because it is tied into the outfit. And so you'd need to find another place for the outfit, and like where do you put that?
I mean, I feel like that's probably easier to just add to a shop somewhere.
Maybe, but it's also easy to just not.
Then to like
add
in a whole distraction mechanic and then readjust the whole way you get into the things. I like it as like an alternative. I don't want to say alternative training method, but an alternative training method in the same way that like the pit is an alternative training method for agility, where it's like it breaks up the training loop a little bit once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with all of these, right? Like they're intended to be. The reason DailyScape happens is because you want to have these little bonus things that can sort of break up the monotony, and then you put a cap on them, because if you don't, people are going to abuse them.
Yeah, you make a D&D too powerful.
Right, exactly.
Now they made the D&D not too powerful. Congratulations, now it's just a D&D.
Yeah,
and so you fall into a trap of, well, is it still worth doing? Is it abusable?
I mean, it doesn't seem like it. I mean, why would you really do this though over like the shrine?
It is.
It's
why would you do it over the shrine?
Oh
well, I mean, the shrine is
still better XP.
Lean forward. I was going to
So
say
it is.
that, there's opportunities for further cache evolution when divination does eventually go to 110. I don't know what they'll do with that. And I don't know
Hopefully
what
nothing.
divination 120 looks like either.
Oh,
Because they got
painful.
some really weird interactions with invention on there that's already 120. So, do you just add 2 new energies,
Well,
or what do you do with caches?
Divination
That
is
sort of-
already a kind of a weird skill, so
yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna could do a completely different training method the same way they've done for every other 120, where it's just gonna be a different skill after you hit 99. Lol.
Which when we question that, if that's a good thing, then we get to the idea of what purpose does the divination skill serve at the end of the day? And right now
that's
it's
a
just,
really easy question to answer.
right.
None. No, that's not true. Porters.
I love divination.
It's air
Unironically,
fishing.
one of my favorite skills to train on the group Iron Man. And I don't know why. I don't have a good explanation for it. Doing it felt like doing agility on old school, where I get to go do rooftops and earn my graceful, and I'm like, this feels efficient in my early game, and I quite enjoy it. It was my chill time while I was working on unlocking invention. I don't know, for whatever reason, because our entire GIM group got divination to the 80s,
Within the first week.
very quickly, because we were all like, oh yeah, wait, this one's chill. I like this. We can do this for a while.
Oh, more power to you. I don't know. Whatever.
The skill is better. They've changed the XP rates on it, or done. Change it somehow. It's fine. The skill's fine.
All right.
Anyways,
as things go here, when we start tangenting, time to move on. Reaper tasks. Now you can chain them back to back. You have a 300 Reaper point cap per week. Unfortunately, if you get assigned a Reaper task you don't want, you need to pay 30 Slayer points to cancel it.
but they give Slayer points now. Thank God. I don't have to do Slayer. I can just do this. And
See, that
can
part
just
of this
do
makes me
Reaper.
happy, but the other thing is I'm missing the free alternate task each day that we used to get with this.
Yeah.
Oh, did they remove that?
Yes.
Did
Yeah.
they,
You can't
good, and they
reroll
still-
tasks at all unless you cancel it with points.
Oh, but it was okay. Yeah, I mean, but you still get Reaper's Choice 80% of the time.
Oh yeah, you
Or-
do.
Yeah,
So-
depending on your.
Depending on your
your,
combat achievement level.
Yeah.
But the point is, I did my Araxor Reaper, and then I'll go get another one. That was good. I got Raksha, and I have and I'm like, do I want to cancel this or do anything right now, or see if this will get changed in the next week or so? Because I have 33 Slayer points left after buying my first ever Slayer helmet on the main.
Ooh,
At minimum, let us reroll it once. I won't say daily, because then we're
Yeah,
doing this
right?
again,
I mean,
but,
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
flagged
week or
this
something.
as a pain point, so I assume there
Yeah.
might be something coming
They'll do
next
something.
week on this.
yeah, I've heard there's been some complaints from not so good PVMers who are kind of upset that they're getting Raksha
yeah.
tasks or
Raksha's probably the
Scooter
worst
tasks.
example of it.
Also, I don't know if this is a new change, but I saw something about there's a change to how Reaper tasks are assigned. You only get assigned certain tasks based on your combat level.
Yeah,
So it's supposed to
that's a-
theoretically scale with
there
your
was a post
That's
that
always
they
been there.
Has it been?
changed.
Okay.
They changed that scaling this week. They
Right,
didn't say
okay.
what it was, but they definitely changed that this week. Unsurprisingly, it was Mod Reaper that was commenting on these things.
The at level 50 or 60 when you first unlocked War Hub previously, you only had access to Barrow's Giant Mole and KBD. It was
Which is
and then
comfortable
every
around
10
that level.
levels they would give you
Right,
more.
okay.
And they were relatively appropriate. Some of them were a little bit oh, you could do this at that level, but that's going to be aggressive. But they were mostly fine.
Another thing I
Yeah.
saw people complaining about this week. Apparently, it's really hard to find groups for Croesus these days.
Really?
Color me unsurprised.
Welp.
Great boss, but requires endgame skills in skilling for lean-in content,
Yeah.
when those skills are normally trained in not lean-in content. And despite giving possibly some of the best rewards in the game, Croesus is probably a top 10 moneymaker in an efficient team.
And then let us not forget about Crypt Bloom and
But-
offhands and everything like that.
The commons are awesome. The commons are the one thing that was not touched by the game health update because not enough people were killing Croesus to impact the game economy. Croesus's drop table is still very problematic. Like a lot of the things they removed in the game health update are still on Croesus's drop table, but nobody kills it, so it doesn't matter.
When was it? Because I remember hearing, I want to say it was Mod Shrike, say that Croesus was like the #2 most popular boss. I could have sworn that was last year, but maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe that was longer
maybe
ago.
if there was a Master World or something, but no. Croesus is the best way to earn charms still to this day. It is the fastest charms in the game. Like there's a lot of things that Croesus is just best at. It's lean in gameplay. It's obnoxious. It requires 70 to 80 plus in all of your
dive
skills to do
surge.
Yeah, it's lean in gameplay. So
yeah. I mean, it's a boss. It's a boss that you use skilling at. I hesitate to call it a skilling boss, but
hey, all right. The other one that got the axe this week, a big one, the Traveling Merchant.
I weep.
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah,
I weep because the things that I weep because the things that they took out suck, and they didn't fix them.
Barbarian Assault, my beloved, but also
they tried to fix some of them. Barbarian Assault they didn't touch at all, which I find really weird.
I hate that minigame. I will never play it.
Barbarian Assault is just you want trim, go spin on them. Yeah.
Yeah.
They did redistribute the Stealing Creation outfit points. They say,
yeah, they
it's
moved
difficult
those
to
to
engage with due to its age and
Thaler
requirement of minimum of 10 players.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like some of the stuff that you would go to the merchant to buy, they did sort of try and rebalance. I don't know how effective those were. I mean, moving the outfits probably makes sense, but
the RuneSpan ones?
They moved the outfits to the tailor's store, which is fine, except that it's a lot of time to earn those outfits now, and it's not worth it. So the XP per time, it's like there's about before they were still not worth it, but because you could buy them from the Traveling Merchant, it was fine. In terms of the amount of time you get back, if you're already playing minigames, it's worth it if you enjoy minigames. But if you're going to the minigame specifically to earn the outfit, it's not worth it. It's the same as the I think it's one of the thieving outfits is like
Flash Powder outfit.
The Flash Powder, for
the Rogue's outfit.
It's the amount you gain out of it, even for like Iron Man, saving like secondary ingredients is generally not worth it. Even for making potions to like 120 all combats, like you'd have to make just
I remember
truly disgusting.
You, Taxi, when you were doing the questing alt, that the last we saw of that character was when you burnt out on Flash Powder.
No. I got my Flash Powder and I did other things. We did other things with that character afterwards. I didn't enjoy that process, though. I definitely complained about it to you. It was maybe worth it. It made me feel good to have, but it was probably... So like, and that's the thing that earns you Tailor. So the nice thing about that was that like the amount of time it took to earn 4 outfit pieces, I could buy the 5th one Tailor because it was just that much time. But it also mean I could only go and do it like one every 14 weeks or whatever the heck, however long the spotlight rotation is, because it was only worth doing when it was on the spotlight. It's like,
how do we feel about RuneSpan points being doubled?
It's not enough. I've spent a lot of time in the RuneSpan. I've spent a truly redonkulous amount of time in the RuneSpan. I've gotten like 80 million experience in the RuneSpan because I'm still hunting for Rue.
Wow.
I'm not angry. You're angry. And I'm doing it I'm literally doing RuneSpan right there, right now. Because regular rune crafting, I'm too lazy for the GAM. I probably ought to, but I'm too lazy. I could have burned for some essence. Anyways, doesn't matter. RuneSpan points being doubled is not enough. Getting the amount of points required for trim is still way too much time in the RuneSpan. It is on the order of like...
And that is why
many hours.
I asked
Not
about
dozens.
completionism in the monthly bit topics.
Yeah. Getting 100,000 points in the rune spinner, 200,000 just to unlock all the prestige is crazy, and that's without including all the points you need for the massive pouch. It's without including all the points you need for like all of the outfit unlocks and things. Because the outfit unlocks are pretty simple. Actually, doubling the points makes it very straightforward to get the rune crafting outfit, and especially if you're there at mid levels when the rune span is actually good. It's not great points at those levels because the points are best at high levels, but it is like it's efficient to go get the Master Runecrafter's outfit because it's only like 4,000 points, and having doubled points now makes that really fast in mid game even.
Okay.
So it is worth going for their like it's good for those people. It's probably going to be a slog. Like people complain about stuff like chompies or other things for trim. Like that's one of the longest trim requirements. Like
yeah,
in
Steam
the
is
same way
pretty
like
rough.
the Slayer Codex is long. Like getting rank 1 of Steam is probably like 50 to 100 hours. Like, and again, reminder, chompies are like 5 hours. People hate that. This is not that much. I mean, chompies are not a fun activity, Mikey, but like, what am I doing here? I'm standing and clicking nodes that sometimes pop up.
After that, we go to everyone's favorite, the Livid Farm. That this week,
yeah, this is the one I actually like.
Cut the cost of each spell by 70% so you can unlock them much faster.
Yeah, that's actually, I think, is a decent rebalance.
So with that, the cost has been reduced to 30% of their previous cost, reducing the time. Why did they switch? They cut by 70%. It's been reduced to 30%. Like, why change?
I mean, what's the points per hour? I'm looking this up right now. What's the points per hour doing Livid Farm?
Not good.
You now need 130,000 to complete it.
Yeah, it's not good, but 130,000 I think is reasonable.
Okay. It's still not great. I'll be so honest with you. So and again, this is like almost 10 years on speaking. I remember doing Livid the first time, and I kind of got into a rhythm with it. It was a lot of farming XP, which I kind of was grateful for, and a good amount of magic XP, which I didn't really need, but I'll take it. I wasn't 99 when I did this. And I did it for like 20 some hours, right? I'm going to make some people angry and say that we can ignore borrowed power. The last spell you need to unlock here, for me, is oh my gosh, I need to pull up the thing.
Trollheim Farm Teleport.
Trollheim. Well, even that, you can use the farming totem or farming amulet for that.
Really?
If you really want to do. Well, you can bind farming amulet to a patch.
Yeah. The Amulet of Nature. You can teleport with it.
Amulet of Nature. Sorry, yes. Yeah. I mean, Disruption Shield.
Yeah. So for me, like Vengeance Group was the last one I would want. And Vengeance Group is about 5 to 6 hours right now, which is still a lot. But I don't know.
Okay, so Vengeance Group is 5 to 6 hours right now. That means borrowed power is probably 7, 8, maybe 8.
This doesn't. I think the wiki might be wrong on this. I think you get more than 18,000 points an hour. That sounds low to me, because I definitely don't think I did this for 30 straight hours.
I mean, when you look at it that way, that's just a good movie marathon.
Yeah, no, you do get pretty good at learning where the plants are. And there's a thing where you can like hop worlds too, but I don't. That's too extra for me.
I think you can also still get the plants from player on farm, can't you?
Yes, you can get them from the farm helper things.
Yeah, the farming requests.
But they're, there's no way to know when that's coming. So.
Yeah, they're random, but
no, but that does like, because the amount of points you get from a livid plant is like a quarter of borrowed power now.
Yeah, it's substantial.
It's more than an hour on average of livid farm progress. So it's like
very worth doing.
Yeah, so there's that. That's going to be easy now.
So I guess that's the next thing to watch for then, is to see what your farm harvesters are saying, and if a plant comes up there, jump on it.
Yeah, if Pauline shows up. But again, like, if I just want, because Disruption Shield is probably the biggest. Like, Vengeance Group is nice, but Disruption Shield is probably the biggest one. 90,000, 4 or 5 hours.
You mean we don't like spiritual healing?
I mean, there's a time when you need it. It's not the worst, but it's cheaper than Disruption Shield, which is definitely more useful.
Okay, I get that. So I mean, it's not all bad, but I mean, Livid Farm is still bad as a piece of content, and probably deserves a look-see. And then the other thing that they rebalanced was the Uncharted Island maps, in particular the drop rates of both Uncharted maps at the Deep Sea Fishing Hub have been significantly increased, making it more likely to obtain them there. And they'll monitor the flow of these items in the coming weeks to see where they settle.
Because this used to be a daily. It used to be you got one map a day, right?
Yep.
I'm assuming they've removed that now, and so once you just go and use your map, you just can get another one.
Well, you can get as many maps, like you get the maps randomly while you're skilling, and you can get as many of those.
But you can only go to one island a day, right?
No, you can go
as many as you have maps for.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you get the maps randomly. You can use them as soon as you get them. You can use them as many times as you want. What's changed is like the merchant would always sell one every day.
Right.
So you could always go and buy one every day, and it had a chance to be a red map.
Got it. I thought you could only hold one, and they only gave you max of one a day.
I definitely have more than one in my bank because I don't use them. So maybe there's more than one way to get them.
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
Regardless, they changed it, and we're going to see if Tavia's Rod drops in price dramatically because of Oopsies.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not.
The Wicked Hood, another surprise. Teleports remain, and the teleport tokens remain for now as well. They said they would be removing those tokens in the initial batch,
probably
but
in January.
But they relented on that, so that'll probably go when all the other MTX items go goodbye.
You can't earn anymore.
So
yeah, they're gonna exit the game gracefully. This is a damage control measure, I think.
Which makes you think, should there be another way of fast teleporting to altars?
Or
Which is why they doubled RuneSpan
teleports.
Points. They doubled RuneSpan points because you can spend RuneSpan points to buy the teleports. And they say they increase the number of teleports you get per purchase? I think it's like you get like 10 teleports per like 1,500 points or something. It's not a great ratio, mind you. And it involves doing
RuneSpan. And remember back in the day, that whole thing started, those teleport tokens started with the Great Orb Project?
Yeah, I do. Talking about jank.
There's just so many of these things that just need to be taken out behind the garage and shot.
Yeah. I mean, somebody loves it.
Does anybody like Great Orb Project in the year 2026?
I think there's a community. I think there's people who do it.
I think the achievement community probably has people who like it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure Achievement Help runs games all the time, but
yeah,
I think there's a GOP community.
All right.
And no, not that kind.
I didn't even. That's not where my brain went. Did that where any of the Americans? Did either of the Americans go there? When he said GOP community?
Oh no, I knew exactly.
I'm not getting into this right
now.
now.
But no.
Separation of game and state.
No, I just asked if your brain went there. That's all.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Taxi.
My brain lives there.
Right now, baby.
Did your brain go there?
No. I did not.
Okay,
anyways,
good.
Speaking of rune crafting, Viswax.
Along with Rune Goldberg and the quick teleports, all gone. You just charge with the law runes now.
Yep.
Yeah, quick teleports are still there. I like charging them with law runes. That seems
that makes sense.
I think for law runes. And an appropriate cost, so about 3 law runes each. I'm fine. I'm willing to pay that to save however many game ticks.
It's not like law runes are uncommon.
That's the first time I'd probably even use it because I always thought wax was too valuable to use for freaking teleport. So,
I always kept on my main my quick teleports charged. I never used to, and then somebody told me to, and it was a life changer. Yeah.
But also, I do the same thing with these as I do with my invention pack, where I fill it full. And then I just top it up once in a while, and I don't have to think about it. I don't have to ever worry about running out. So I've got I think it's 14,000 quick teleport charges, whatever the cap is. It's too many.
So
But
you're
I've got
good.
a whole bunch from just chilling. Yeah.
The rune crafting perk previously gave you the last
perk.
rune in the Rune Goldberg machine. Now just provides a chance to act as an anima stone while rune crafting.
Cool. You either save some money or get some extra runes. Either way, it's a win. It's worth using now rune crafting, whereas before, the cape was not worth using to rune craft, which is funny.
Yeah,
So
it was a
cool.
weird perk.
Cool.
Following from that, we got the biggest one. This portion of the list, daily shops and free item collection runs or don'ts. You didn't know that half of these existed.
Half may be a bit of an overstatement, but yes, I was definitely unaware of several of these because, I just don't do these. I think I said that at the start of the show. I'm on Tanis's team here. Why? Screw all this crap. I don't care.
So if I'm being so honest, you have to go more than halfway down this list to find one that I wasn't doing daily. At one point on the group Iron Man. Most of these are very solid.
And that speaks volumes for how powerful they were. And now, only needing to go once a week really raises the question. There's probably a lot of sleepers on this list. That's something we were talking about in pre-show, whether that be, just collecting runes, whether it be collecting your free inks and whatnot in all of these things add up at the end of the week. So if you can go once,
some of them are,
why not? Question mark.
Some of them are very Iron Man specific. So it's stuff like the flax or sand or seaweed, buying seaweed daily from the
Which one of those
store
were we in a deficit for early on the game that we perused quite heavily?
There's a handful of them. I mean, the potato cacti from the Weird Old Man was something I actually able to grab because we didn't have whatever boss drops them. We didn't have the levels to do it when we were first starting to make overloads.
Right.
So we needed a bunch of potato cacti. So it was if you did that wizard or if you did that diary, go grab them. There's a handful of these things that were kind of odd, but or the Slayer equipment shops not having to go daily to buy Slayer gems if you want to disassemble Slayer rings for
that was it
for augmenters.
That and
there's stuff like that.
Sears one, yeah.
Well, those weren't tradable, but it's just there's a bunch of these that are just really on the Sears one too, to get flax to make bowstrings, to get bows to disassemble for I think augmenters as well or something precisely.
And that raises a question: are the achievement task set ones included here? Because I'm looking at Lupe right now.
They are.
Some of them are, some of them aren't.
And she says, "Come back in 5 days for more supplies."
So I believe all of them are.
No.
The one in Lumbridge might not be, but that one was never worth doing anyways.
Well,
so that all of the rest of them are generally worth doing, except for maybe not the Pure Essence from Wizard Property ?
Yeah, that's one of those ones that I didn't know was even a thing.
But the first four, most of the first 5 or 6 items on this list: the Pure Essence, flax, potato cacti, logs from Caden? No idea. Fucking Welsh.
You hear that,
There's
Wales?
a handful of these. But the contraband yak produce, that's the best way to get yak hides for summoning. When you need to do summoning. And that's I had that's on my list to do. I did that for every day for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I didn't need to do it for very long, but it wasn't that I needed to do on the group Iron Man to get, because I could go and kill and manually pick up unnoted yak hides, or I just go to the store every day and I just buy them out of yak hides. Buy yak hide packs. So it's there's a bunch of these things, meat, being able to buy meat for your dinosaurs weekly, or you only dragons that you only need to check once a week. You could just go buy all the meat for your dragons.
And see, that's the thing,
weekly.
because typically because of the rigmarole of going daily there, I had always just been using the miscellaneous fish for my dragons rather than the meat. Mm-hmm. Whereas now this kind of raises that as an option if we, have a very consistent supply of meat. So
like all the feather shops are on here next, I think after that. And I don't know if the price of feathers is going to fall accordingly, but like that's a pretty good shop run for mains. It used to be anyways, that feathers
Runes.
were very expensive.
That's huge.
Runes are next. Runes are going to be like all these things that were like what they were doing worth doing once a day because you made like a mil by doing the run. Now you make 7 mil by doing the run once a week. And so it's like I think doing a full shop run once a week is like upwards of 10 mil for probably, depending on how many shops you like delve into.
Yeah, I used to have a
90
route
minutes.
that I could do in 15 or so. On this, I didn't go to each and every one, but there's definitely the more expensive runes that are worth considering there.
Yeah. The Colonel Mentor's food chest is an interesting one for getting like
Del
I think there was
Monte?
something we needed out of there.
Del Monte pineapples
Yeah.
for super compost.
That's a diary reward, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, that one is. That's Karanja Diaries.
Yeah.
That one I do remember. I mean, you
Arhane's,
say
Arhane's General Store for seaweed and pineapples. That was where I got my seaweed for that glass making that I did. I would go to the Catherby dock every day for that with my sand from Burt. Like, and there's Lupe. So it's like,
I mean, you say these are going to be good money for shop runs, but like the economy, like if they're good money, the economy is going to balance out. Like you were talking about feathers. Looking
Yeah.
at the GE price for feathers right now,
not
and
anymore.
obviously the GE is like it lags because the GE has that weird delay.
Yep.
But like on Sunday, price of feathers was 24. Today it's 18. So like
because of this, the
it's
shop runs.
it's
Yeah.
not going to be good money for long. Maybe some of them
Some of
will
the things-
be, but
Some like I expect runes will be, especially given
Maybe.
the changes to how ammo is consumed by
Yeah.
spells.
And honestly,
and,
if you keep
things.
it to the runes and you keep it to the meat and you keep it to your farm
Like broad
products,
arrow tips are probably I
That-
don't know if they
yeah,
were
that's
good
another-
before,
that's
but if
another one
broads
on
are,
there,
but you
too.
can buy 7 times many broads now. Like there's, I think if somebody made a spreadsheet that pulled the data for these, and by somebody I mean the wiki, they've definitely already done it. Somebody definitely has already made a set of these shop runs on the wiki. There's somewhere
Oh, yeah,
in the
I'm
wiki,
sure.
hidden in the bowels of the wiki, there is a
there is a
spreadsheet
page on
someone has
shop
made.
run, I'm sure.
and
Yep,
and the other
that
thing that
Has
comes
already
from
updated
this
with all this.
is that if people are looking for money in the sofa, there it is. There it is. Use it while you can. So, and just aside from making
Found it.
everybody's lives easier, there you go. You wanna shoot me a link of that and I'll show it off here.
It's not weekly. Apparently, you made 5 mil a day previously, so this might actually be.
That sounds like it's out of date.
I
then.
think this was made in January, which is why it's 30 minutes. Yeah, 24 hours recurrence time. So my guess is this might actually genuinely. This may be. Oh no, because it's you input magic note paper for some of this. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, let's
Just
not
Google RS Wiki shop run if you want to find this. I don't know. Because that is probably pretty close to accurate.
Okay then. Well,
But regardless, it's shop run good.
following from that, we go to Mazcab. They removed the raid lockout here.
Yeah.
A bunch of people got Tuzzy immediately after the update landed. We were not able to find if that was an intended change there to the way that Tuzzy came into game, but I think we can gather based on that there's probably some kind of threshold on the Tuzzy pet there now, which is in addition to the Beastmaster and Yaka pets there. Ability codexes are 1 in 30, and Acto is 1 in 20 now from both bosses, with Beastmaster dropping the boots, gloves, and helmet, while Yakamaru drops legs and chests.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think
It's
they made it a
simplified.
little more common from Yaka, but you only get certain pieces, I think, is the net.
Before it's the exact same drop rates as before, except previously you got boots first from Yaka and gloves first from Beastmaster, or vice versa.
I thought they used to be 1
Um,
in 15 from Yaka. Okay.
Because with rerolls it was like a 1 in 7.
Okay.
Or maybe codexes were 1 in 20 and they swapped the drop rates. They might have swapped the drop rates between those two.
How do you feel about this, Thaxa? You were used to run training
Yeah.
events as part of Raid FC Group.
I mean, so the change is good. Come on, camera. The change is good. Like when I first started doing raids were ridiculous gold just in the common loot that they gave. I need to like my camera.
Don't worry about it.
Yep, fair enough. Raids were great loot in the commons that they gave, and if they'd kept that, it would be problematic now. But the fact is that like between game health and like all the changes over the years where they like added stone spirits instead of ores and they added salvage instead of the armors, and then they got rid of the salvage in the game health updates, and they've changed the types of spirits that are on the table a bunch of times. Like raids have gone from being like 10 mil in commons a kill to like 2 mil, 3 mil. Which is like if you're on a very efficient raid team, I would say it's probably still one of the top 10 most complicated, if not the most challenging bosses in the game.
Yeah.
And if you're on a competent raid team doing fast kills, it's probably actually pretty good money. It's not going to compete with the Zamorak or,
a Mazcab, maybe.
A Mazcab or some of those that are like making you a ton of money right now. But it is really good money. Even just in the commons. And then if you get a codex once in a while, that's great. We're going to see what happens to the price of codexes with the changes to combat. And Octo is, of course, the red portal value, which is probably a thing that needs to get rid of or fixed as well.
Yeah, because, there's really,
value.
like, there's only a few, like, you're only looking to use Octo now if you're really wanting to cool down defense abilities for some reason. A few pieces of it.
It's really pretty. It's a good override. They killed those too. So, yeah. So, I don't know. Raids change good. I'm gonna say change good because the farmable is good. Let people actually just farm for their pets without like having to sacrifice
and the abilities.
You could farm for pet chance before. Yeah.
So, and the best part about this is I don't feel a pressure to go back and experience this because I have my full log and Tuzzy and Liberator title and everything at 101 KC.
Yeah, you've got the reason not to go back.
So, after Yaka, we head on to the Serenity Posts, and I'm sorry. This is what agility is going to be if you don't want to run laps after Silverhawks are gone. 22k XP an hour active goes down to about 14k if you're just sitting there passively.
I'm surprised it's that high. Or it should. I feel like it should be a bigger difference because you're only
feel
on
like
the correct post 1/4 of the time. But either way, it's not great XP.
No.
Even the 22 isn't that great.
Silverhawk feathers are going to be real expensive for this year.
What do we think about this instead as an agility pet mechanism? Because it's that same fast shots of XP, just like the bikes.
Yeah, it's the mechanism.
Yeah,
I probably need to start doing this for my agility pet.
Like I said, go walk your dog and put yourself on a post, and then put your phone in your pocket, and there you go.
Well, probably do while I'm working, but.
Previously, the best way to get the agility pet was to pray to God and do the auto cycles. So if you hadn't done the auto cycles for XP previously and you got like 100 plus agility, and you did like the manual auto cycles, but you only did the wrong one for the entire XP like cap of the auto cycle, you had like a 1 in 3 chance to get pet. I got lucky. Yeah. That's just how I got my pet.
I have bad news.
But it was a very silly way to do that, and now you no longer need to worry about running out of XP on your auto cycle.
The bad news is that God didn't smile on me.
You did not get it in your 1/3 chance.
I did not get it in my 1/3 chance.
Yeah, so now you have Serenity Posts, which effectively acts the same way, where it's just because the whole thing with agility, technically the fastest way to get the agility pet is to do courses, because the pet rolls at the when you finish a course and get the course XP, like the XP bonus for the course, it rolls on a set number of ticks. So it says like, we expect you to take 70 ticks to complete the Prifddinas course. It doesn't matter if you take 1,000 ticks or 20 ticks to complete it. When you get that completion XP, if you take both shortcuts and you just complete it, you get more pet chance than the amount of time you did, despite it being a time-based pet.
Yeah.
It just rolls that way.
Unfortunately, that requires you actively doing laps.
Which, for like 80 hours, the pet drop rate is god-awful. All of the time-based XP rates, all the time-based...
Which really I bring us back to our initial thesis of this week. If skilling pets are this thing that entice people to log in and do things for copious amounts of time, and then people wanted the game to be more old school like, there were tons and tons of different levers they could have pulled this week about one thing or another that would have made the game more like old school. And they didn't. So I think that lean in on that and just realizing that we are our own game. We are our own game, and we get to actually, you know, be masters of our own destiny here when it comes to playing RS3.
Better be up next.
There's so many things that could be tweaked. Yeah.
Dungeoneering is up next after Dungeoneering.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, I love agility, but after Dungeoneering is probably the thing, because the XP rates are not appropriate for it anymore. Silverhawks were a patch on a problem, and that patch is going away. So they need to address that. Toot sweet.
And then what do you do with like the mid and high level agility stuff? That's the question that will appear in.
They need to just redo it, like the whole skill.
In the mid to in the mid and end game rebalance. So fun times ahead, people. Fun times ahead with that. Red and Crystal Sandstone on par with Bay Knight. No Arbok support. No Stone Spirits. So you're gonna want to porter it when you're doing it, and the desert mining site and the one in Tyrannon for the crystal, those ones have slightly lower hit points associated to them, so you mine them quicker. So that's the benefit of that.
Rise of Flask is probably going to crash.
Do we think they'll crash?
I would expect so.
Okay.
It's profitable mining. It's very profitable mining and good crafting XP. So maybe.
That's what I was wondering. Like, are people gonna, invest the porters into this and do this?
I mean,
or is it just gonna be?
The porters are definitely worth it. Flasks are expensive.
I've always done it for myself, right? Like, I think some of these are kind of conveniences for yourself, but I don't see them as big money makers or anything.
You do raise an interesting point about the crafting. Have
already dropped precipitously.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Okay.
I will say, shout out to Barbarian Assault. The last bastion of use for Barbarian Assault reward, the Collector's Insignia, still gives you bonus sandstone. They killed the resource flora, but Barbarian Assault's still useful here.
But at what cost?
Pretty cheap, because insignia resets are cheap because the 5 people who still sell Barbarian Assault runs are selling.
Oh, I just pulled my hair literally for that. I don't want to think about that.
It's not good. It's like a 5% or 10% chance to get double sandstone at the end.
Okay, well that makes me feel a little bit better.
Efficiency.
Bastion.
But I do have good news. I do have good news. With us being an hour and a half into the episode here, we're almost done with dailies. And I'm not having the same feelings that I've had the past few weeks as we do these episodes. So that's good. We're moving in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cause for celebration.
Something.
Did a good thing. They did a good thing this week.
Yes. All right. Let's speedrun the last ones here. Slime Pit Teleport, nice quality of life feature to gather slime in Port Phasmates. Fish Flingers. There's a trim requirement on this. And Thaxi, you were saying it might be a viable active trading method for
It
fishing.
is. So they were not lying in the news post when they said we're gonna make this different than it is, so that you can actually train with it. Because when you're training with this at vaguely max efficiency, it's a 10-minute game. You can earn like on average 20 to 25,000 XP per game. And there's a couple minutes to reset between games, but that does put it on a par with Ghostly Soul, which is the least active of the fishing requirements. But it's available earlier, I think. Is it only? Yeah, it is. I'm not crazy. So it's like for the mid game, if you want a lean in training method, this gives you rewards. So the fishing outfit and other things in exchange for actually competitive XP rates for most of mid game. With a reminder that mid game fish are no longer useful because your shark work everywhere for everybody now. So unless you're an Iron Man, it's the only fish you can get. But maybe you still want the fishing outfit. I don't know. Like this is actually worth doing for at least a lot of
Which is
fishing.
shocking. But I
Yep,
think there's better
FP's good.
things we could go fish otherwise.
I mean, it is the most lean-in method possible. Like, I don't think I've ever been able to do this efficiently
Yeah.
without either a full FC of people scouting or literally having there's like a calculator spreadsheet you can have open on the side. I think one of the guys in here has one too.
Well, there's an
Um,
all-one plugin,
Yeah. Oh, well, never mind then. God
so
bless
it'll
that
just
one.
tell you.
When I was playing on a
Just
Mac,
all
I
one.
had to have a separate Excel sheet open on the side that with like drop-down filter menus to
Well,
like
yeah,
effectively Alt-1 for myself.
That's the tax you pay for having a Mac.
It was the tax I paid for having a Mac. But for people who want lean-in fishing gameplay, especially in early levels, this is going to be very good XP potentially. So you know,
Which is shocking.
that.
But I mean, hey, if you want to change up your scene, go for it.
and fishing outfit.
And then the last one is Bork. There's no longer a cap on Bork
Bork.
kills. You just go in there through the northwest portion of the Wilderness Chaos Tunnels, the Dagonoth room. Go in, slap them a few times with one of your new combat abilities. Probably, actually, magic ranged or melee, because he'll delete your necromancy conjures halfway through the fight. Pick up your charms, step out, repeat. It's about a 20-second kill. Very fast.
And I believe the Charming Imp does work on those. I think you can get 2 to 3 kills a minute. He drops 5 crimson, 2 green every kill, plus his orc minions drop golds, greens, and crimsons at a very high rate. So you're walking out of there with about 10 charms a kill. You can kill 120 times an hour, so it's about 1,000 charms an hour, which makes him right below Croesus, I think. He's one of the top charm droppers in the game. If you genuinely need to farm charms, he's the replacement for the Arcglacer. Now, he doesn't do blue charms, so we're still going to need to figure out the best.
I like
blues. But
I like the Exiled Calphite Cave for that, or the Fairy People.
Yep. So that's he's Bork genuinely the way you could or should train something now. And he doesn't require the problem with Bork before was you had to have like the Mighty Fall, which required crazy combat stats, and like Varrock Diary 4 and like all these
the mini quest and all that other
there were like 5 or 6 different tiers of rewards from Bork based on like having all of these unlocks that like increase the amount of gems you got and the amount of charms you got. And they killed all of that. Just said, nope, this is the drop table now. We're going to screw all of those rewards from other content, which makes me a little sad. But it does make Bork farmable by like lower levels as long as you can kill him semi-efficiently.
So what do we think
which also
at
makes
the
it
end of
probably
this
decent
all?
combat XP. I don't know.
What do we think at the end of this all for all the dailies that were axed this week?
I don't think I'm mad about the changes they made to any of them except maybe the Traveling Merchant.
The one that I experienced pain with this week was the Reaper canceling. That
But
is
they did
the
say
only
they're
other
fixing
thing.
that.
Yeah. So they're aware of that. And honestly, like I said when this Road to Restoration was announced, it's a relief. Because I'll go to what you sent me earlier in February, Thaxi, this entire list of what you had here. This is a pared down list from what it used to be.
Yeah. So the discontinued ones on the side were ones I stopped doing. There were a couple more that I hadn't gotten to yet progression-wise. I think Menaphos Scarabs are still a daily.
No, I don't think they are. You're talking about the ones that just pop up out of the ground, you stomp for Slayer XP?
Yeah.
No, those aren't a daily. They just show up randomly and you can stomp them, as many of them as you want.
No, but the amount of XP they gave decreases up to 64. So the first ones you the first ones you pop give you almost 10 times as much as the 65th one you pop.
Okay.
And every 12 that after 12 it gets halved, after 24 it's 1/3, after 36 it's 1/4. It drops off really fast.
Can you tell I'm not XP motivated?
After a while they become not worth it, but they're multiple Slayer levels, even into the 70s a day kind of a deal. They're a little too much XP.
So what's the final verdict, everyone?
They did pretty good. They got rid of most of the problem children.
Yeah. Okay. Zardones?
I mean, I'm looking at this list and I'm like, my guy, are you okay?
No.
Do you need help? There are people you can call.
Zardones, I can't quit the game. Something has to remind me every 6 months to upgrade my graphics drivers. But
well, at least it's providing you some value for your membership increase.
When I get back into playing the GAM more actively, the only things remaining on this list are daily challenges, the scarabs, and farming, which I've got a Shane for. So eventually, farming not my problem.
Farming,
hey, by the way,
we're not allowed to.
I'm halfway between 119 and 120 right now on the game.
Yeah, so if I want papayas or coconuts, I'll ask Shane about them. So that's good.
Overall, like I said, it is a huge relief. I know tons, well, not tons, but plenty of people who quit over the years because they burnt out on dailies.
Yeah.
And that raises the next big question. I always like leaving these things off on a bit of a cliffhanger. The other things that next drove people away, the two things that come up are the shallowness of the early and mid-game content, which we'll hopefully get some addressing this year with Havenhide. And then the other side of that coin, on the far way away from that, is the idea of completionism and whether or not that's pushed too much in-game. But those are both topics for another day. And the other big thing that was causing a thorn in everybody's side was the daily. So lo and behold, here we are. Like I said, a big relief. That's the DailyScape reduction. All right. Anything else? Now that I've put that out there before we move on? Everyone good? Everyone happy?
Daily people are weird, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't be a Thaxi episode if I didn't let you talk about combat action bars, which is what people knew us for at one point. We have ranged and necromancy today.
Yep, that's what I had time to prep this week.
What do we think?
I mean, this is very simple. The good folks at the PVME have done a lot of the work for this for us. If you don't want to Google, if you're not on Discord and don't want to Google PVME Revolution bars, I've included the link in the show notes. But TLDR, their necromancy bar gives me a conniption for several reasons, and I don't think you should use it. Whatever necromancy bars you're already using, either from us or from other people, keep using those. That hasn't changed. Good work. Ranged did get quite a bit of overhaul. And as the combat style that is and kind of always has been will be my baby, that's kind of we're going to start there. So I think the bars that the PVME has for range are better than anything I'm going to be able to come up with by a good long shot. And the problem with them is that it's hard. They don't tell you, if you're not already there, how to like transition from the full revolution plus bar into like more lean in gameplay and what stages you could go from A to B. That's my biggest issue with these bars, because the non-revolution bar, or the revo without the plus in it for range, is I think literally 2 abilities and then the auto attack. Yeah. I would make a vague argument that Imbue Gales should just be there, but
I've seen that in other places as
not.
well. Honestly, I have. Yeah.
I understand why it's not. So like you getting from A to B, right? You look at the ranged revo plus bar, and I think that's pretty solid, right? So the things you need to make sure you're focusing on are like the abilities that have synergy with one another, and this bar generally does a pretty good job of grouping those. I would say if you're doing this as your revo bar, you have 4 extra slots on your action bar. I would try to probably put like Bombard and Corruption in there just in case you need AoE, and then Binding Shot for a stun, and Snipe if you feel like it, just in that last slot. And when you're trying to go from using this revo bar, if you want to learn towards like more active combat, more like the revo just your basics,
which is entirely feasible now. I will say, because you just press it and it goes. There's no question of thresholding anymore.
Yeah. You use abilities a lot less frequently when you're going like towards full manual, just because, especially if you're just doing like basic revo, because there's a lot less to like think about. Your abilities don't cost 15; they cost a lot more, so you're not casting as many of them. But you do still need to think about ability order. And so range is really nice and easy because you can kind of lump abilities together. If you're changing this bar and you're going to be pulling things off of it, the biggest problem is that you need to like first get rid of Snapshot. If you take other things off and leave Snapshot on, it will just steal all your adrenaline. So the first thing to get used to is you pull Snapshot off the bar. When you hit full adrenaline, you just hit Snapshot once or twice. And you just like let the rest of the bar run, let the ultimates fire, you're fine. Following on from that, I think the next thing I would have you pull off is the 2 purple abilities. Make it nice and simple. It's the like Imbue Shadows and Shadow Tendrils. Shadow Tendrils extends Imbue Shadows, so whenever you use them, whatever you keybind, just put them right next to each other. Shadow Tendrils has a shorter cooldown, so whenever you activate Imbue Shadows, activate Shadow Tendrils afterwards, and don't have Shadow Tendrils on your revo, to make sure that you always get that extension. That would be the next thing I would change. Following that, you're going to do the same thing with the combined group of Imbue Gales. After you hit Imbue Gales, you want to hit Rapid Fire, Deadshot, and Gricko. Whatever's available. Always hit Imbue Gales off cooldown, which is why you could potentially leave it in the Revo section and be fine. But whenever it goes off, you want to prioritize Rapid Fire, Deadshot, and whatever your version of Ricochet is.
Which, what
Probably
you're
in
effectively
that
doing there is you're getting in as many hits as you can.
Yep. Just use that Imbue Gales buff actively. So you're going to get a better use of it by using those abilities actively than you would by just letting Revolution fire them. And then last thing I would pull off is Death Swiftness. Death Swiftness should be your adrenaline spender whenever you have the adrenaline for it. And just pulling that off your Revo bar is your last, like, I want to be careful to use this when I have a damage window to like really pump a bunch of damage into a target. So just if you want to be mindful of your swiftness, and that after that point, you're pretty much in just having those 2 basics and maybe Imbue Gales left on your bar. As you like just pull off the purple abilities first, then pull off your multi-hits, and then pull off Death Swiftness. And that's like what I would recommend as a progression for
removing the training wheels effectively into
improving your damage,
going manual ranged, right?
On range of this. And the last like note I'm going to make is that Both Snipe and Corruption Shot cost less and do slightly more damage than Snapshot. So the thing that you would eventually get into the habit of is instead of hitting a Snapshot, you would hit one of those abilities.
Because they cost
when you
adrenaline
needed
now.
to, like, yeah, not Snipe. Snipe's a little weird. But you would hit those in place of Snapshot when you had space for it in your rotation. So just it's ability priority for when your other things are all on cooldown and you have adrenaline to burn. You would do Snipe, and then Corruption, and then Snapshot as a priority order for those extra slots.
Right. Okay. And, you know, I think if you go into each ability and you look under the hood of what each ability is doing, you can kind of piece that thing together in the same way that you piece together exactly. This is the Living Death rotation in Necromancy. You do this when Living Death is activated, try and get your 3 Death Skulls in, and you use that to build Necrosis. Whereas this is kind of the exact same thing, where you're focusing in on your period, where you're doing quick rapid hits with Deadshot and Rapid Fire. Well, Imbue Shadows is up, or Imbue Gales rather, and then following from that, you got the big spenders of Death Swiftness, and then the other abilities that round out the edge of Snapshot and whatnot.
Yeah. And sometime in the next couple of weeks, if this was helpful, let us know, and I'll try to wrap my head around Runic Charge and Bloodlust stacks and actually get a better progression for
and how melee and
melee
magic
side
go.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
for now, that's what I got for you.
yeah, and you know, Necromancy in that same vein functions exactly like when we last talked about it with the Living Death rotation. So I don't think we need to mention too much on that part right here, because, you know, in many cases that's in flux, because Equilibrium is very powerful, the perk that came out last week to replace the Equilibrium Aura, and they are aware that they want to do a lower tiered version of that doesn't use those kind of materials, because that was, you know, the gateway into PVM, so that you don't need to go with, you know, a full, you know, buy Aurora Node, disassemble it so you can have the best Necromancy setup, folks.
Yeah.
But thank you. Any questions from Tanis or Zerdones on that? Quick little combat micro lesson.
I mean,
Sounds fine.
synopsis, yeah, sounds fine.
I'm
I
not
mean,
gonna argue.
yeah, we'll put it to the test on the next league when we're going through that again, right? So,
Yeah.
That's going to be really fun to see what they do with the combat styles in that, now that we got this update here. I feel like that league was such an eye-opening experience for everybody, and it's clear that from this Road to Restoration initiative that it was for Jagex as well. So,
Well, I played through the early levels of Ranged with a slightly different or slightly earlier version of the beta when that first came out, and it felt much better. Like the ability unlock order, like you unlock the abilities when they're centered, like in packs of synergies. Like,
yeah,
you get a bunch of multi-hit abilities after Imbue Gales or before, like around the same time as Imbue Gales. And so it's like, I think, especially for any old school people who want to come and try it, we're going to go down this road again. The like change to
what was that?
improve unlocking combat.
What was that ability they had in the beta over Christmas for Ranged that was just straight up better than Death Swiftness that didn't make it in? I forget the name of it.
Splintering shot or whatever. Yeah,
that's it.
It's just Imbue Gales. It just had a longer duration. It had a higher uptime, 100% uptime, which was a problem.
Alrighty, folks. Well, with that, we're going to move on. We do have a few achievements this week. We have Shantae Yuste with 99 Invention on the 18th, Woody with 200 Mil Divination on the 16th, Lady Claw with 200 Mil Rune Crafting on the 14th, and Sangrasani with a 120 Slayer on the 13th.
And other achievements, on March 18th, we have Sanguinarux, a returner from old school who celebrated by getting his Zuck capes.
All three.
All three of them. Good job. March 16th, RR Man got a Gloomfire bow. And Bladecom, the lucky scrote, on March 18th and March 14th, got 2 memory dowsers on those 2 days, and did not share any of the proceeds.
Those are the ones that are worth like 700 mil.
Hmm.
Yeah, that
Are they
is.
that high? Oh my god.
Yeah, they are. I actually that sounds low to me. I thought they were even higher than that.
Well, that's what the chest value said, so it's probably higher
Okay.
in game. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't know what they actually go for. I assume it's more, but that is still insane luck for over 4 days.
boggles the
Yeah.
mind.
I'm glad it,
I did a Gate Reaper, and I enjoyed Gate in
Oh, you
the
poor
week and a
man.
half that it uh
Mhm.
came out and I was playing it. But I went back to it, and by the time I was done my 8 Reaper kills for it, I was done for the week,
It,
for the month.
it's a
it
fine
really is
boss in small doses.
yeah. It requires you to be in a rhythm and to know your rhythm to do it consistently, I feel like. And if you fall out of that rhythm, it becomes a bit of a pain.
Yeah.
Like you know how many cycles it is and how to timing the specials.
Yeah. All right, Tanis, pick of the week. What is this?
I have a silly little game, a spiritual kind of successor to the much loved Carmageddon. This is Carmageddon Rogue Shift. So this is actually a roguelike racing killing, game. Um it's a this is a little kind of darker, grittier. It's kind of reminds me of Death Race, the movie, a little bit. But yeah, just a really, the original Carmageddon, I always thought of it as just a silly, fun little game that um was just like mindless fun. This is very much the same. It's something that I immediately, am watching out for. I'm gonna be picking it up. Um, you can always wait for a sale. I think it's definitely will be worth the pickup if it's on sale. I've heard it be called a like car version of Road Redemption.
They call
It's
it
probably
a
fair.
roguelite vehicular combat mayhem game.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and it's pretty insane. I mean, like I said, it's just fun. And if you played the old Carmageddon, um, it really has a lot of that just over the top silliness. So yeah,
All
it's my
right.
pick.
And if you want to find this, you can find it linked in the show notes at update.show. It's on Steam. It's actually presently on sale right now for 10% off.
Yeah, Steam Spring Sale.
Oh, God, spring sale. I guess it is
Yep.
spring. Or will be soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Soon. Yeah. Less than a week.
Yeah, it's actually only just started to feel like that here right now. Yeah.
Good for you.
Oh, you don't have it yet?
Yeah, we had snow today. Again.
Oh,
Yeah,
We had snow last week for the first time this year in the lowlands here.
we're due for freezing rain tomorrow.
how fun.
Joy.
Yeah. I got my winter tires off today too. That wasn't good planning. Oh well. Drive careful.
Always. Well, folks, that brings us to the end here for this episode. DailyScape Reductions. Next week, of course, is Havenhithe. Just a bit of an update on how the Havenhithe episodes are going to go next week. Will be general vibes, skilling, and any sort of combat-related things that come from it. And then the following week will be Quest Week, and then there's going to obviously be a series of patch notes as we follow through that, and then that takes us well into April and the spring event. But if you want to join us on the Havenhithe adventure as we go, visit update.show/subscribe. Subscribe to the show if you want it delivered when it arrives each and every week. We're on all the major podcast listening services out there. Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Spotify, and more. And, of course, YouTube as well, youtube.com/RSBANDB. Give a like and subscribe. Let us know if you agree with Tanis's take on DailyScape, my take on DailyScape, Daxy's take, and Zerdone's take. These are a bit different takes than you were probably accustomed to hearing in the community this week. So let us know what you think. Let us know where we landed, and do that in Discord and the YouTube comments as well. And, you know, if you make it to the YouTube comments section, you should also like and subscribe, because that helps the channel and the podcast out. But update.show/subscribe, you'll find links to all of them there. Alrighty. Tanis, always good having you on board. Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
Seeing this Road to Restoration project through. Just gotta, you know, room by room,
To
right?
the end. Yep, that's right. We're restoring this old house.
That's right.
Woo-hoo.
Oh boy.
And of course, Thaxi, always good having you back on the show. And I should note that you asked very enthusiastically to be on this week.
Yeah, I had opinions on the dailies. I'm glad they're still here.
Someone has to defend daily challenges.
And Zerdones as well. Thank you for being here, Zerdones.
Always happy to be here.
We wanted to definitely show different perspectives this week from what was planned out there, but I think we landed in a good spot, both on the show and in the game. I feel comfortable with where we're at. Let us know how you guys feel, but until then, until we get those comments in, thank you for listening, everybody, and we'll see you guys next week for another episode of RSBANDB Update. See you then, everyone. Take care.
Bye.
See ya.
Ciao.